You ever just look at a world map and get the feeling you're staring at a giant, jumbled-up puzzle? Well, you're not wrong. Today, we're going to piece together the incredible story of how the very ground under our feet is constantly, and I mean constantly, on the move.
All right, let's jump right in. Take a look at South America and Africa. I mean, really look. See how that eastern bulge of South America looks like it could just tuck right into the coast of Africa? It's almost a perfect fit. And let me tell you, that is no coincidence. It's actually the first big clue in a massive geological mystery.
And people have been noticing this for a long time. We're talking way back in 1596, when a mapmaker named Abraham Ortelius pointed this out, guessing that maybe earthquakes and floods had torn the continents apart. But for centuries, that's all it was, just a weird little observation, until one man came along and decided to build an entire scientific theory around it.
That man was Alfred Wegener. And in 1912, he proposed a truly radical idea he called continental drift. Now here's the kicker. Wegener was a meteorologist, a weather guy, not a geologist. He was a total outsider, and he was about to turn the world of geology completely on its head. So, what was Wegener's big idea? He pictured a world from 200 million years ago where all the continents we know today were actually one single gigantic supercontinent. He gave it an epic name, Pangea, which is Greek for all Earth, and this massive landmass was surrounded by one enormous ocean, which he called Panthalassa, or all water.
Okay, so you can't just throw out an idea that huge without some serious proof, right? Wegener knew this, so he basically became a scientific detective, gathering clues from all over the world and from totally different fields of science to build his case. He ended up with 4 key pieces of evidence.
First up, the fossils. Check out this little guy, the Mesosaurus. It was a small reptile that lived in fresh water. Now, here's the weird part. Its fossils are found in only 2 places on the entire planet, South Africa and Brazil. So, how in the world did a small freshwater reptile swim across 4,800 kilometers of the salty Atlantic Ocean? Wegener's answer? It didn't. The continents themselves moved. Next clue, the rocks. If you look at the coast of Brazil, there's a belt of ancient rock. We're talking 2 billion years old. And what do you know? It matches perfectly, both in age and type, with the rock belt in West Africa. When you put the continents back together, these ancient mountain ranges line up. It wasn't just a fit in shape, it was a fit in the very bones of the Earth.
And the evidence just kept piling up. You find identical scars left by ancient glaciers across South America, Africa, India, Antarctica, and Australia. The only way that makes sense is if they were all huddled together near the South Pole under one giant ice sheet. Oh, and the gold deposits on the coast of Ghana? They have no local source, but they match up perfectly with gold-rich veins in Brazil. It was like a geological fingerprint.
So, you've got matching fossils, matching rocks, matching glaciers, even matching gold. Wegener's case seems pretty solid, right? You'd think so. But the scientific establishment of his day didn't just disagree, they basically laughed him out of the room. His brilliant theory was completely rejected.
And this is where the story gets really interesting. Why? I mean, with all this evidence pointing to the same conclusion, why was everyone so dead set against it? What was the one, single, fatal flaw in Wegener's argument?
Well, it all came down to the how. Wegener had a ton of evidence for what was happening, but he couldn't explain how it was happening. His best guess was that the spin of the Earth, combined with the gravitational pull of the Sun and Moon, was literally dragging these massive continents across the planet's surface.
The geophysicists of the time did the math, and their verdict was, well, brutal. They declared the forces Wegener proposed totally inadequate. And we're not talking a little bit weak. They were millions of times too weak to move a continent. Without a believable engine to power this whole thing, his theory was dead in the water, and poor Wegener was pretty much ridiculed for the rest of his career.
For about 30 years, that was it. Continental drift was considered pseudoscience. But then, after World War II, new technologies like sonar allowed us to finally map the ocean floor in detail, and the secrets hiding down there in the dark would blow the case wide open again.
So here's how it all came together. Even before the war, a geologist named Arthur Holmes had suggested that maybe huge, slow-churning convection currents in the Earth's hot mantle could be the engine. Then, the new ocean maps revealed something incredible, a massive underwater mountain range that wraps around the entire globe called the Mid-Oceanic Ridge. But the real mind-blower was this. The rock of the ocean floor was youngest right at the ridge and got older the farther you went from it. This led a scientist named Harry Hess to his radical idea of seafloor spreading.
And this was the powerful engine that Wegener had been missing all along. Think of it like a giant conveyor belt for the planet. Molten rock erupts from the middle of those mid-oceanic ridges, creating brand new ocean floor. This new rock then pushes the older rock away on either side, and eventually that old, cold, dense crust gets recycled back into the mantle at deep ocean trenches. Here it was, a force powerful enough to move continents.
Seafloor spreading was the final critical piece of the puzzle. It didn't just prove Wegener right, it sparked a complete revolution in geology. All these different ideas came together into one elegant, powerful theory that explains just about everything: plate tectonics.
So here's the big picture. The theory of plate tectonics, formalized around 1967, states that the Earth's outer shell is broken up into these massive, rigid plates. And here's the crucial update to Wegener's idea. The continents aren't just plowing through the ocean floor on their own. No, they're more like passengers, riding on top of these giant tectonic plates as they move.
And pretty much all the geological action on Earth happens where these plates meet. Where they pull apart, at divergent boundaries, you get new crust forming, like at the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Where they smash into each other, at convergent boundaries, you get massive mountain ranges like the Himalayas. And where they just slide past each other, at transform boundaries, you get things like the San Andreas Fault.
So you see, this isn't just some dusty old history lesson. Plate tectonics describes our planet as it is right now. We are all living on a world that is in constant, dynamic, relentless motion.
And why is this so important? Because plate tectonics is the master key. It explains why earthquakes happen where they do, why volcanoes form in chains like the Ring of Fire, and how the tallest mountains on Earth got built. It ties all these huge, powerful events into one single, beautiful, interconnected system.
Now this movement is incredibly slow, but it never, ever stops. The fastest plates are zipping along at over 15 centimeters a year. And to put that in perspective, that's about the same speed that your fingernails grow. It seems like nothing, but over millions of years, that slow, steady crawl can build mountains and move continents.
Which, of course, leaves us with one last epic question. The continents are still moving today. The Atlantic is getting wider every year. The Pacific is shrinking. So if you could hit fast forward, what will this planet look like in another 100 million years? The story of our dynamic Earth is still being written 1 centimeter at a time.